panel we were discussing family business क्या होता है. Sheenu put out this question that family business क्या होता है, एक बार check कर ले. And we came to the conclusion that if a family influences any business, then it is called family business. Now, family business में और क्या होता है, you will be able to see throughout this entire conversation, and then perhaps you will know, or you'll think that we all are a part of some family business, because this is how well the panelists know each other. And on that note, we'll now start, and I would like to start with Mahavir sir. You know, this panel, in this panel, we want to learn the lessons from the old guards of the businesses, of Indian businesses. One question to you and to all of the panelists. How can one create a healthy business? I know it's an elongated question, but yeah, starting from you, sir.
So, like all definitions in this world, the definition of a healthy business keeps on changing, and it depends on the kind of business that you're in. So, if your market share is growing, it's healthy. If you are growing year on year, it's healthy. If it's a traditional business, 10, 20%, 30% growth. If it's a startup, 100, 200% growth. So definitions for a healthy business vary from business to business, stage to stage, and geography to geography. But I think if the growth is there, if profitability is there, if employment and products are being added on a daily basis, and you're evolving as a company from innovation point of view, to me that is more growth, because companies that don't innovate die. So the true growth is if you're putting all your efforts into innovation, whether it's your money, knowledge, team, R&D. So it's very, very important. All the other superfluous numbers on the tops don't matter as much so long as you're improving on a daily basis on innovation.
All right, thank you for that. Now I'll come to Sheenu and Ajay sir both. You know, you have been a part of family businesses, right? Now, if I'll ask you the same question, how can one create a healthy family business? Then what would be your answer? Starting with you, Sheenu.
Correct. So Mahavir has given a very, very relatable answer, and I think our job should be only to add to the answers that we get on the panel, to give the correct value to the audience and the reason for which we're here today. So I'm going to add two elements to this. Sometimes, let's say, the profitability comes late, and sometimes you scale. And when you scale, you can't be in the same geography, right? Or you may have an online business. So for both of these things, making sure that the right culture is from the way we think we operate to communicating it down the line to our people, and also for that culture to traverse the boundaries of geography and territory to go as the business scales is very, very important for the business to grow, because we can't be at the same place all the time, right? That's number one. Secondly, in the traditional parlance, businesses used to grow over a long trajectory. So you had 10 to 15 years when the business would grow. And because the scale was slow and it was perhaps only limited in terms of spreading from one place to the other over this trajectory, the culture took time to build up. But today, especially with startups and with scale, you're growing very fast in a very short span of time. Therefore, it's very, very important to ensure that this culture grows at the same pace. And that's a very big responsibility of the family business owners and the promoters to make sure that while the business numbers spread, the ethos with which that business is being built towards the customer as well as to your staff, that spreads at the same in the same ratio.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Ajay sir. You have taken data group from strength to strength, right? If I want to know from you, what are those common pitfalls that businesses must avoid, you know, in order to create a healthy business?
See, hello. So from family businesses, like businesses are businesses, right? Businesses do not change because it's a family business, so it will be done differently. It's a business. What brings as a family point of view is the trust among family members, harmony among the family members, division of work among the family members, because they are controlling the entire thing. And if that health gets missed, then the family business will certainly suffer and no business can grow. And that is a very, very important element, because most of the businesses, either two brothers start or father son starts or brother sister starts traditionally in any part of the country. And this is where the businesses go down. Traditional data in the whole world only 3% businesses survive third generation worldwide. Only 3%. The reason is not business. The reason is the harmony goes away, the trust goes away, the struggle for right goes away, struggle for who will be the face will go away. These are all challenges, and these are very, very important critical elements for family businesses to remain healthy in any business. Otherwise, the rules of the business do not change. The rules of the business we need not to teach. They are same in almost everywhere. You have to achieve your goals. You have to be profitable. You have to grow every year. All those things with good team and all that stuff. I think these are very, very important. Pivotal point for any businesses. I believe we can give Jagran to for hours here. But to me, most important thing is remaining relevant with time. You have the right team and you can forecast. The companies like Nokia cannot survive, the BlackBerry cannot survive, the Kodak cannot survive. Why? Because if you do not pay attention to what is coming as change, what is coming to time, if the biggest of the world can die, then we all can, if we do not pay attention to it. And to me, that is a very, very critical component to pay attention to what is coming next and be relevant to that.
All right, thank you for that. Now, Parijat sir, this room is full of entrepreneurs, and everyone is expecting a lot of lessons from you all. On that note, again, the same question: what pitfalls should these entrepreneurs avoid in order to create a healthy business, be it a family business or a normal business?
So thank you for the question. So firstly, see, the way I look at business is it's actually a human business, right? So why human business? Because you're always building and selling goods and services to some other humans, right? And a lot of times what happens is that business folks who basically found a business, they forget that the world keeps on changing. As Ajay ji has mentioned, there is a market drift which keeps on happening. And you realize it's very late. So for example, let's say you're traveling in train, you basically see that the mountains are not moving, right? But you look at the tracks are moving very, very fast, right? So that is called market drift. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, first and foremost, be ready for being a new version of yourself every day, every month, every year, right? Whatever you held as thoughts, maybe last year may not be relevant now, right? That is one big pitfall. We consider ourselves to always be right. That's the first thing which we should get out of the window if you're running a business. Second thing which I want to mention, see, when you are running a business, there are many sides of the business that you are working on. Many times as entrepreneurs, we get sucked into one portion of the business. That's very bad. Step back, take some help, ask some mentors, basically talk to your colleagues, ask some employees, ask anybody, but find a solution, right? You don't have to solve everything yourself. So these are some of the things that I'd like to share with the people.
All right, on that note, Mahavir sir, you have been investing in all these businesses, right? We have spoken about how to create a healthy business. We have spoken about what are those common pitfalls that one must avoid. But what do you look at while evaluating a company for investing? I mean, that's a bigger question. I think all of them want to
I
know.
look at when I invest, if I can make money or not. If if this guy will give me a 10x, 20x, 100x multiplier or not. But to justify that, I have to be convinced. Obviously, multiple things we look at when we invest, from the team to the idea to the timing of the idea, whether it's ready, the market is ready, if it's product market fit, if it's a win-win solution for everyone, the supplier, the buyer, and the companies making profit in between. So all of these things are required. Then, obviously, compliances have to be adhered to. Is this an industry that has a huge future? Are there direct and indirect competitions that might possibly creep in? Will technology change and make this more usable or less usable? I mean, it's absolutely a lot of things: market share, competition. These are multiple things that we do look at. Obviously, then we look at cash flows, profitability, what are the customer acquisition costs, whether the CAC is coming down and lifetime value is increasing. Then we go down to numbers after we've done the basic generic stuff. And then eventually, when we are convinced that this is something unique, this is something different, this has a possibility to grow many-fold, then we look at the money that they need and the valuation that they're expecting. Obviously, that has to match also. If we are taking too much of equity, we don't invest. If we are not getting enough equity, it doesn't work for us. So all these multiple things are required. If they're taking too little a cash and they will burn a lot and they would not be able to survive without the second or third check, then we take a real look at it. So it's a long drawn, 1 month kind of a process, multiple calls, multiple meetings, multiple research, customer feedback, looking at the numbers, looking at all compliances. So investment is not that easy. I mean, I think it's a full-time job, and I think you really have to, and it varies from sector to sector. If it's an IP, then the track changes. If there's no IP, track changes. If something is already being done, then has the market validated? So there's so many parameters, 25, 30, if I may say, that we look at in the course of conversations and discussions and deep dive, and that's when we invest. And obviously, making money is paramount in my
Right.
statement.
Making money is paramount, and I think every one of you must noted, what he looks while investing and what he will look while investing in your companies. On that note, Sheenu ma'am, India has seen so many startups, so many unicorns in these past years. Uh, there's a common debate, that you want to scale at the cost of being non-profitable, or you want to continue, first. Not scaling the business and kind of thinking about profitability first. There's a debate, about scaling and profitability. What do you suggest?
So the great question. And I think there are two parameters which we forget whenever we have this debate. What is the customer size that you're looking at, right? And what do you imagine to reach that customer size, to service that customer size? What will be your break-even point? So we are going from the very traditional mindset of if we have a brick and mortar business, then perhaps we'll be reaching our desired customer size, let's say in 7 years. And this is a kind of capex that we put in, etc. In 7 years, we'll have the operational break even, and we are all okay with that. The moment we talk about an online business, right, with the unicorns, etc., why are they unicorns? Because they're scaling so fast. Why are they scaling so fast? Because they have traction from the customer. Why do they have this traction from the customer? Because they're all over the place in a very short span of time. When you do that, you have to bear in mind that to reach that size, you will have to burn a lot of cash initially. Only then you start becoming profitable. So going from a traditional mindset of how things should work and questioning the how things are working in today's parlance and the kind of valuation numbers that we're seeing, let's shift our mindset also a little bit. So I think this is how I'm going to answer. Of course, it's very difficult to give a perfect answer to a slightly generic question like that. It's going to depend on the kind of capital involved when we're talking about this unicorn and lesser profitability in a given span of time. Like Mahavir has said, there's so many parameters that one looks at. And only when you look at all of these things and triangulate the data, do you really come to know that, okay, should I scale beyond this point instead of looking at profitability or vice versa?
All right, thank you. On that note, Parijat sir, we have been speaking about scalability. We have been speaking about profitability. A lot of businesses are rising right now in Rajasthan. On that note, what are those ingredients to move from state to national and national to international level?
See, very good question. So, firstly, like I said early on, what is selling locally may not sell nationally, and what is selling nationally may not really sell internationally, right? So, depending on what goods and services you are making, if you are foraying into any national or international market, firstly, you need to understand the customers over there, understand what their needs are, and probably accordingly customize your product for that region, right? Or for that country. Second, a lot of times in our minds, we steamroll all the cultural differences that exist from state to state or from nation to nation. So we think, oh, Americans, they think alike as Germans, they think alike as English folks. They don't. They are all three different races of people grounded in different culture, speaking with different backgrounds and working with different systems. For example, Germany, all the systems are all form based. You still have to file paper forms. You still have to have them in German. Whereas in UK, everything works with an email, right? Whereas in US, again, ease of business, doing business is there. So if you are expanding, look at the market which you are expanding into, make a measured bet. And like, the previous question said, initially it would be capital intensive. You have to put in capital into anything which you start, and then over time it will give you the return. Of course, if it is not working out, then it is better to cut the losses and move on to the next market as well.
I would like to come to all of you on balancing tradition and innovation. Every company has their own culture, has their own set of vision, values, but also then comes in innovation. And it happens most for the family businesses where you have to balance tradition with innovation. How do you walk on that tightrope of balancing these two terms? And I'll come to Ajay sir first and then Sheenu ma'am.
No, I think business, as I said, runs like businesses. Traditional businesses में और जो futuristic businesses हो गए, like we are a very perfect example. हमारा oil manufacturing का business भी है, and I started a technology business way back in 1999. But as my father may not understand how to code in Java, or how the internet will be configured, or how the Wi-Fi router will work, and ये 1 करोड़ रुपए का router क्यों खरीद रहे हो? He will not understand that. But he will have a question. ये 1 करोड़ रुपए का जो router तुम invest कर रहे हो, ये इसका return कितने साल में निकाल के दोगे? That doesn't change. That is same. No matter which business you do. So we will have to, even in a traditional business, हम जाएंगे, father will have a board meeting, say, बताओ अपना 3 महीने में क्या है? Every quarter we will have to present our case that this is what we are doing, this is what we have earned, this is what we need more money to invest in. Then again, the same principle. As Mahavir is saying, that he is investing in others. We are asking money from our own parents when you are starting. And you have to build the same case. That's all. You will not get money from your parents if you don't have the case. Basically, it has to merge with the business sense. And once you merge with the business sense, then traditional or these new age businesses will go. They understand very well. Yeah, you made 20 crore rupees, very good. That everybody understands that. इसमें tradition or non-traditional की कोई बात नहीं है. The key here is, if you are getting into a new age business like we did, I think the most important thing is those people who have not studied that kind of work for technology to get in. Like I entered into the technology business in spite of a family business of edible oil, because I did my MBA, I did my doctorate in electronic data processing, I did my system analysis design, and that was all study, not to start a business. But I knew that. So when an opportunity comes, then you can just look at that opportunity of a new age business and you start. The business rules do not change. Business rules are absolutely same. And I can tell you, I can vouch for it. I look after both the businesses, edible oil and technology. I can tell you that the rules do not change. I have no problem of whatsoever. Neither my team have problem whatsoever to manage both the businesses from the business point of view.
But do nature of conflicts change?
Not really. You have to just sometimes you have to convince more कि ये जो आप राउटर लगा रहे हो इतना सा, ये 50 लाख रुपए का आया है और वो किलो के भाव बिकेगा आफ्टर 4 years. So 4 साल में आपको पैसे निकालने हैं. That is where, so like in traditional businesses like mustard oil, if we invest into a machine which will last 20 years, in technology it is not true. It will have to go into dust in 4 years to 5 years, and you have to upgrade. So the business model changes. You know that you have to depreciate this machine in 5 years completely, and you have to reinvest in 5 years. So you have to recover that money. So you convince, you plan your business plan accordingly and done. Sometimes you convince, and initially when I was not, when you are starting a business, you have to build your trust. So when we were starting in 1999, I remember I was dealing for a Wipro, with Wipro for a router, and that was costing 80 lakh rupees. And we needed 4 of them. And it was very difficult. When I showed the picture, ये 80 लाख रुपए का आएगा, हम 80 लाख में तो पूरा प्लांट लग जाता है 2 बीघा के अंदर, ये इतना से टेबल पर रखा जाएगा. So it was very difficult to convince. But once you tell the business model, it doesn't matter ये छोटा है बड़ा है, हम तो एक 6 महीने में कमा लेंगे इससे. And we did, and that is what the point is gets proved. Yeah.
You know, when we used to talk about family businesses बचपन में, सबसे पहला थॉट आता था महाभारत, राइट? और उसी को देख के ही हम बड़े हुए. तो अब वही क्वेश्चन, आई थिंक Parijat sir is very interested to talk about all the Gita lessons for the businesses. But before that, before coming to him, I'll come to you, Sheenu ma'am, on the conflicts, on conflict resolution. How do you resolve such conflicts? What happens inside a family business?
So, I'm so sorry, but you have triggered.
Especially the
my
in-law conflicts.
This is very interesting. So I would first like to build upon what Ajay has said. So, like he said, family business हो या normal business हो, business होता है. Business किस लिए किया जाता है? For the customer, right? So, is the customer the same since the last 100 years? No. So, for example, we are in the business of healthcare delivery. For us, the most important question is that who is making the choice for which healthcare provider to go to? Who's making that decision in the families today? It's a lot of it is being made by the younger generation. So do you need a younger generation's voice in the boardroom? You do, because that is a reflection of what a layman outside of your boardroom would demand of your business. So a family business is basically family members deciding that let's get together and do the decision making for our business, but the principles of business do not change. And I'll just add one more thing. So in our core values, we have particularly put this point. One of our core values is agility. So it encapsulates that agility is what? Your response time, understanding what's going on, what is the requirement of running a healthy, profitable business, what should be at the bottom line, what is changing outside, like Parijat says, market drift. So unless or until you have these core values set up, that whole question of tradition, innovation vanishes. Because in certain sectors, the traditional way of working would still work the best for your business. So it's not about choosing between the two. It's about choosing what is the requirement for running a healthy business and responding to it in a very, very agile manner with the other core values intact. So on the conflict, yes, of course. So I'm the daughter-in-law in the family, so you can well imagine. And the very interesting part is in our family, the question is not about kaun bolega, it's about please, dusre ko bhi bolne ka mauka do. So we all are so opinionated, we all have our opinions. So what we realize that we all have a lot of good intent and passion. But, and it's very important to have different views in the boardroom, of course, right? So what do? So we have gone ahead with having, we've constituted, for example, a family business board, and a very, very reputed outside entity moderates and runs it for us, and we do it quarterly. And we never go by majority because, personally, I strongly believe when you do a majority view, you're averaging out. And average views are always very mediocre views because sometimes genius is one person's view. So, you either have to convince on the, why are you taking that view? Why do you feel that this should be the decision of the board? So I think there has to be a lot of logical rationale involved in how you decide, even when you're part of a larger group. So that is what we do for conflict resolution. We definitely have a lot of conflicts. And we have, so it's my father-in-law, right, who's a first-generation entrepreneur. It's us. And now our son has also joined in. So you can very well imagine what happens in the boardroom.
Absolutely. I can imagine. I know now that Mahabharat stands true when it comes to family businesses. Now, Parijat sir, you wanted to say something on this? Do you have any lessons? You were telling me that you have a lot of Gita lessons.
I had one for succession, but anyhow, for conflict resolution, I think conflict happens when we want to take anything in a particular direction. So, and conflict happens when we say that this thing belongs to me, right? So, a lot of times conflict in family businesses happens due to primarily two reasons. One is, let's say you have brothers and or sisters, and then there is jealousy amongst them. That is, by the way, from Gita, that jealousy and anger are the two enemies which lurk in dark. So you have to watch out that this is not about me. This is not about my brother. This is about our organization, which is employing so many people, which is serving so many different customers, right? So never forget that primary purpose, right? And all of us are stewards of it for a defined duration, and then we have to move on. We have to pass on the business to the whosoever is going to run it well. right? So conflicts have to be resolved by creating standard operating procedures for everything, right? So, for example, Sheenu just now mentioned that they have a board which they have formed every quarter on a quarterly basis. The board meets with a defined agenda and it takes decisions, right? So, wherever there is this patriarchal or matriarchal society that the patriarch in the family or the matriarch in the family will take all the decisions, that place never works out because you have very good, for example, you have business operators or CXOs, CEOs who may not be family members. They may bring in very good opinions, right? There could be family members who may be having their opinions, right? Just because they are family member doesn't mean that they are right. You have to debate everything, follow a set of rules, and then arrive at the decision which is best for your employees, your shareholders, and your customers, basically, right?
You know, you were talking about debate. Yes, sir. Do you want to say
I just
something?
wanted to give my Gita ka gyan. It's not diya nahi Gita ka. The root cause of all conflicts is main. It's ownership. When someone thinks that this is mine, I'll tell you going what Ajay said a while ago, 3% of businesses survive post 3 generations. So why plan for your next generation? You should work in today's, the environment has changed. Think of it like a startup. You have to exit. Before you turn 65, 70, is your business worth being bought by someone else, acquired by someone else, merged by someone else, taken over by a younger team CEO, CFO? Why are you thinking that your son or daughter will come and do this business? That is where the problem and conflict will happen. Because आप कहोगे तो मैंने खड़ा किया है, मेरा है, मैंने ऐसा करता हूँ, चाहे इनके ससुर जी बोलें, चाहे इनके पति बोलें. The point I'm trying to take is, if you think of this business and exit strategy for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that is when you stop, there's no conflict at all. Because you are growing the company for yourself, for your employees, and the prospective buyer. That is when you are sitting at a distance and then deciding, and then there's no conflict. If Ajay thinks that the IT business is mine and brother thinks the oil business is, there will be conflict. Because wo mera hai. Nahi. Ajay thinks both his businesses here. His role is to do operations and marketing and sales. His role is to purchase and production. Clear. No confusion. माल वो खरीदेगा, महंगा खरीदे, सस्ता खरीदे, अजय काम बेचना है. Then that works because now this is a team. It's a process, a supply chain, and exit. And both of them know that they don't not sure what the children will do. If they do it, great. They don't do it, great. There will be no conflict.
And now this brings me to my next question, which is on succession planning, right? So how can one ensure, and I'll ask this to you, Ajay sir, how can one ensure that, you know, succession planning or leadership development at the company, whether it's a family business or a normal business, how this happens smoothly? You know, because passing the baton is a very big subject in all businesses.
So I think eventually it happens. We live in India in a culture where you have generations who join you. What Mahavir is saying is a very thought-provoking for many. You are 55. Like in my case, I'm 50 and my son will be joining next year after coming. I'm 50. I'm 50. Yeah. So you're 35 with the 30 years of experience. That's okay. But my point is, your son will join at the age of 52, 53, and that is where the Mahabharata will start. Really. What does he do at home? And you have a joint family, for example, your wife, your another brother, sister. And you need a hand. You are aging. You need a hand. So your son joins in. He will work as general manager, whatever the path you want to give him. And after 10 years, you cannot say to him that now this was my business, I created it, now you go back. I will sell it. That's not possible. If you think, Mahavir thinks that he has created a business which he will not pass it on to the family and sell it, then better sons don't join it. The children don't join it. It's a matter of conflict then. Because you have taken 20 years of his time and building this, and then suddenly you say that I'm going to sell it. It will be his decision then, not yours. That's one. Secondly, I think which is very, very important. The businesses are done for what? she said for customers, customers are the persons who runs the businesses by paying, but ultimately these businesses to create wealth. Every business has to create wealth. And then you have to find out that you want to create wealth every day, or you want to create wealth by investing in somebody else's business. You have Mahavir sells his business in 1,000 crore, for example. Then what do you do with the 1,000 crore? You have to generate that wealth again. Or you give it to your family members, donate, give it to son, daughter, whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, you have to give it to somebody. In which form is another question. You want to give a business or you want to give a wealth? That's another question which will come when you are passing it on to your next generation. In the professional run businesses, like very, very large groups where the CEOs are the management. And when we talk about that, let me add one more point. We are working on that as a data group. That do we want to remain owner or do we want to manage the businesses? So this is a very big distinction, which at some point of time, at a certain level, somebody has to decide. So like we are deciding, we will remain owners, we will be shareholder, we will be in the board, but we will not run it every day. Certainly, I can guarantee you there are people in the world who can do it better. That for sure. And there is always a case in every matter. So this is very, very important to create that kind of a structure so that you enjoy wealth once you have created that wealth, and you further invest that wealth to generate more wealth and do good for the society, good for yourself, good for the world. That's the basically fundamental which I believe in as the way forward.
All right, thank you for that insight, sir. I think Parijat sir was absolutely ready for this question, so.
So to your point, I think you mentioned, what do you do? Do you make the kid join the business or what? So in Mahabharat, there is this thing of giving them Khandavprasth. So send them to Khandavprasth to create their own Indraprasth. Basically, you go create your own business, right? We'll fund you, but you go create your own. I think succession is very important because most of us don't realize that we are aging. And जो सूरज चढ़ता है उसे उतरना भी होता है, right? So many a times we think, oh, I'm going to be like this forever. That is not possible. And we should never forget that we are creating wealth for, of course, for the stakeholders, for the employees, and for our customers as well. So business has to have a continuity planning, right? So
Mahavir sir is just 35 and he'll remain so for a lot many years.
If my son or daughter decides to join my business, he or she is my prospective buyer. It is not,
So-
when I'm 65.
That is how it happens in
When
US
I'm
too.
65, 70. That's what, buyer does not mean a third person or
Could
the
be your
stock
son.
market. Buyer is your child,
Correct.
your sibling, whoever. Whoever wants to tell you that you're retired and you've put in this much, or this is your equity and this is your dividend for life.
Right.
End of the story. That's sold. To your own child, to your own brother, doesn't matter. To your employees, to a third party. It is still a sale. Transfer of decision making is a sale.
So succession planning is very, very important, and basically grooming the leaders outside your family, making sure you are hiring people from the right institutes, right pedigree, allowing them to take decisions. Of course, you can ask them questions, but allowing them to take their decisions, making their mistakes, meeting your parameters, that's very important. And realizing, when do you have to move out? What do you have to do, right? Because it's very, very, very difficult to let go of anything. And succession planning is about letting go, basically.
गीता का ज्ञान ही यही है. क्या लाए थे, क्या लेके जाओगे?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल जो कल आपका था, जो आज आपका है, वो कल किसी और का था, और वो कल
कल
किसी
जो
और
आप
का
सबका
होगा.
है वो मेरा होने वाला है.
Yeah, as we are wrapping up this panel and before taking questions from the audiences, just one line from each one of you on your key takeaways from this session, or what would you like to tell your audiences, the young entrepreneurs, the rising Rajasthan? We'll start with you, Sheenu ma'am.
I have a very practical and a philosophical approach. So I read one very important line. The assets you are living, all of us are living in, after 100 years, some unknown person will be living in that asset. Your jewelry, homes, businesses, cars, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's a very temporary love. The person who's going to live after 100 years have not taken a birth till now. So obviously somebody unknown to you will going to live those assets. This is a philosophical part. But the practical part till we are here, till we are able to make a difference, I always believe whatever I am doing, am I able to make a positive impact in my life and in the other's life? And the best way which we have learned in last 100, 200 years is by creating wealth. If we have wealth, if we can create wealth, we can certainly help more than anything else. We can serve people, we can serve food, we can take somebody to hospital, we can take somebody in the car and do something. But what wealth can create a magic is immeasurable. So I request everyone to focus on creating wealth, and wealth is created by long-term investment. And long-term investment is not just money, by your hard work. So I want to end my point by saying to all of you who are entrepreneurs or the professionals, do not get into the trap of 5 days a week, 6 days a week, or a Sunday. Entrepreneur journey works 7 days a week, 65 days. Take holiday when you need it. One, the mechanism of working less is designed by the people who are rich and who do not want you to become rich. There is no other way. And I can prove that point by the result of the Olympics. We are 140 crore people and we have won only 5 medals and no gold because we have taken holidays on Sundays. And I'm telling you, the person who is working hard is not taking any holiday and he is taking the lead. So we have to understand that psychology very, very well. We have to work hard. There is nothing like family life balance in the entrepreneur journey. You spend time with your family when you need to. It is not the created engineering that I have to spend a weekend with them or a Sunday with them or a morning with them. It is not like that. When you need to, you have to. Otherwise, you have to work to create wealth. And that's the investment you have to make. Thank you.
All right.
एक सेंटेंस के 10 सेंटेंस बोल गए सबकी तरफ से हमारे. आप
वेरी
बोलो.
सिंपल सेंटेंस. अगर आपको सिक्योरिटी चाहिए, स्ट्रक्चर चाहिए, तो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इज नॉट फॉर यू. सबने सुना है, but I'll just add to it. Maintaining inner structure when there is chaos outside and being able to deal with it because of your inner compartmentalization and structure with that chaos and finding your way, that is true entrepreneurship. And this does not end today and start tomorrow. Between today and tomorrow, this entire chaos begins to change. And if you are available to the world as a sponge to learn from every observation, only then you can grow. Because today's learnings are going to end tonight. Between today and tomorrow, the requirement of what needs to happen, how you need to function tomorrow is going to happen between your learnings of today and tomorrow. Nothing is static.
All right, Parijat sir, your views.
So just one line. So like I said, I started with business as human business. So always remember कि भाई अपने लिए जिए तो क्या जिए, तू जी ए दिल ज़माने के लिए. Basically, do every task which you do or everything which you do, either for your customers, for your employees, for the society, and for sure, I mean, and work hard, be at it, business is going to grow, right? Money is going to come to you.
Right. Moving to our youngest panelist now. Sir, your 2 cents.
I think everyone has said enough. I think go out there and make money. The more you make money, the more people you will employ, the more the India will prosper, the society will prosper. And I think don't shy away from making money.
We just have 5 minutes now, ladies and gentlemen, for questions. Let's take those questions head on. Anyone from the audience? Can we please have a microphone?
And no philosophy. इन तीनों ने बहुत philosophy झाड़ दी है. Straight questions.
Business is philosophy only.
Straight
Okay.
question from all of you. Which business or a startup would you like to invest in? Would that be? I want to take answers from each one of you just to get an insight, right? Would that be a startup which is making say 5x returns and want to take an exit early, or would that be a startup which would probably make 100x returns in 10 years and not making any money right now?
I mean,
I'm so sorry. I got so excited with the whole concept of investing in a startup which is going to go 100x over the next few years, not necessarily 10. I would probably opt for that.
so you said 5x in 5 years or 10x in 10 years? Or
5x in say 2 years down the line, or say 100x in 10 years or 15 years down the line. You don't.
I would do 5x in 2 years because simple maths. 5x in 2 years, then I have 5x's to invest in. Then in 1x, I'll invest the 15x wala thing, and in the 4x, I'll still invest, but the multiplier will be much higher. So I would do 5x. Exit is the most important thing. What is in your one in hand is better than millions in the bush. Cash. Period.
Ajay sir.
सेम है ये हम सबका सेम है मैं सबसे छोटा हूं सबके मैं जवाब दे दूंगा
All right, we can take one more question.
हेलो सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन महावीर सर से है कि आपने एग्जिट स्ट्रेटजीज के बारे में बात करी है, तो एज ए स्टार्टअप बहुत से लोग हैं जो शायद जो मेरा पर्सनल क्वेश्चन भी है कि मैं रन कर रहा हूँ अभी एक सर्विस कंपनी एंड आई एम ऑल्सो वर्किंग ऑन माई फ्लैगशिप प्रोडक्ट, बट मुझे ये नहीं पता कि एग्जिट स्ट्रेटजी क्या होती है, इसे कैसे बनाना चाहिए. लाइक आई विल बी गोइंग टू पिचिंग सम इन्वेस्टर्स, सो दे विल आस्क मी द एग्जिट स्ट्रेटजी. आई हैव द बी प्लान, आई हैव द फंडिंग मॉडल, आई हैव everything which is required for a startup. So I'm just want to know like what is about it and how to make that.
So I'll address your. So I mean, realize we are living in the most advanced stage of this world which has ever been. Okay. So I remember in 1998 I was in New York and I purchased a computer which was this big for $3,000. Okay. And now on your mobile you have something called OpenAI, you have ChatGPT, right? You have the tools from all over the world. Even when we are creating legal documents, you can create a strawman of a legal document just to, and then you can fill it in. So your question, go look on the web, ask some of these AI tools for what their strategy should be. You will have something. Of course, if everybody is going to give in that will become a commodity. Right, so you need to put in your thoughts on top of it, but at least that'll give you a structure or a strawman to build on.
एक तो क्या है प्रॉब्लम क्या है गलत है यू डोंट थिंक ऑफ माय रिस्पांस कि हर साल 2 साल में एग्जिट करना हो ही इज रनिंग अ बिजनेस दैट he'll exit in 40 years. You are not exiting, the investor is exiting. You have to understand you are running the business in the long run. If you tell me you will exit in 2 years, I will not invest in you. So your exit is IPO. Okay, so the startups don't have to think about exit. People who are in the at 35 plus age, they start planning their exit. Not you, not at 25. You have to build a business, profitable business. Investor exit हमको मिलेगा तो we'll come see we can talk one on one and it's sector specific. Every investor has different reasons to exit. Sometimes I have to do follow on rounds also because I would have a larger exit. There's no one rule. I don't follow a rule. We go by whatever is right at that point of time.
All right, thank you so much. We are out of time now.
एक चीज ऐड कर देता हूँ, एग्जिट होता है जब कंपनी में वैल्यू होती है. दिमाग उस पर लगाओ, ये इन्वेस्टर हम लगाते रहेंगे पैसे, हम एग्जिट करने के लिए बात करेंगे. एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर वैल्यू क्रिएशन होना चाहिए. मेरा जो पैसा लगाया है वो बढ़ रहा है क्या, उस पर दिमाग लगाओ आप. एग्जिट का रास्ता ये हम पैसे लगाते हैं ना, वो ढूंढ लेते हैं, वो कर लेंगे मेहनत उसकी. You worry about that the business you are committing on the commitment we have invested. You are surpassing that commitment. Just spend your time on that. I am guaranteeing you, investors like us will find the way and tell you that this is the valuation now going up because we want our money back. So we will work on that. Don't worry.
All right, we are out of time now. I hope these panelists will be available for one-on-one discussions. You can discuss in there. But thank you so much for being a part of this panel. It was really an insightful one, and I hope all of you will take some of the lessons back to your boardrooms. On that note, thank you so much, and thank you all for being such an engaged and lovely audience.